Crystal, our recent guest, Libby Gifford. Remember Libby?
Yes. How could I forget?
She said Olympic National Park was her favorite park. Remember that?
Yep. Yes, she did.
And I just got back from there. You want to hear about it?
Do I have a choice?
She's like, oh, God, no.
Of course I do. Tell me more.
Well, from mountaintops to beaches and little coffee spots to national park lodges, today we dive deeper into Olympic National Park.
I hit the like button on that. And at the end of this episode and every episode, you will hear our Gear of the Day pick. If you're looking for best-in-class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page at stackingadventures.com/GOTD, Gear of the Day. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back to the Stacking Adventures podcast. She's Crystal.
And I'm Joe. Just kidding. He's Joe, in case you didn't notice. I threw my voice.
We are headed back to a park that I'd gone to before. I was trying to figure this out, Crystal. Nick, my son, has been in Seattle for 7 years, and I think we went the first year he was there, so I went 7 years ago. The problem is I don't remember much about going to this park, and you know why? Because we tried to day trip it. That's why. Mm-hmm. This is a huge park. Libby, when she was here a couple of weeks ago, said the biggest mistake people make is they try to do it in one day. And I remember Cheryl wanted to go to this one spot called the whole rainforest, which was beautiful. I do remember it being beautiful, but I also remember being stressed out. I think we got back to Seattle about 3:00 in the morning.
Whoa.
Oh, it was horrible. And I remember just being stressed. So we drove a lot and I was stressed because this park is huge and we tried to day trip it. But this time we went for 2 days. So Crystal, let's dive in. What do you want to know?
Well, first, I hate it when people, I don't say hate it, but like I feel like I owe an apology to people who've come to visit me when I first moved to a place, because you said you went right when your son first moved there. He doesn't know anything, right, about the area yet. So I even want to hear about going back 7 years later of what was one of the lessons that you learned about, well, besides the don't try to do it in one day.
Well, we figured out first, I think, we knew that it was going to be a long way. And we also knew this time we weren't going to see everything. So we knew it was going to be a greatest hits and we're still going to have to go back again and again and again. And I'm okay with that because this is an amazing park. But when we left, we were staying in a suburb called Bellevue, which is east of Seattle, and Olympic National Park is west of Seattle. So we're going to have to go through downtown Seattle to the ferry. You don't have to take the ferry, Crystal, but it takes off about 40 minutes. And when you're trying to do it in a couple days, every 40 minutes matters. So So
after you fly in, you rent a car.
Yep. And then, well, for this thing, we stayed in Bellevue because I was speaking at this thing called Retire Meet.
Okay.
So I was at a retirement planning conference. We wake up in this hotel at 5:30. No, we woke up at 5. We were on the road at 5:30. We get to the ferry at 10 minutes to 6. It's going to take us to a place called Bainbridge Island. Now, Bainbridge is barely an island. On one side, it looks like a series of rivers because it's right up against the coast. But it definitely is a shortcut versus going all the way around Puget Sound to get, or to the next bridge anyway, to get over back to the mainland across the sound. It takes about 35 minutes to take the ferry. I actually looked this up because I forgot what it cost. For adults, it's $8.50. There are fares for seniors and children, which are half price, only $4.25. Children 5 and under ride free. We didn't realize, by the way, that we needed a second ticket for me. We thought that there was just going to be a ticket for our car because we taken our car on the ferry. We got there about 10 minutes early. The ferry at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning was only half full. So there wasn't any rush to make the ferry. Obviously, you got to get there by the time the ferry leaves, or it's going to just leave without you. This thing's on a very strict
they don't
schedule.
wait. I wouldn't expect that.
No, but don't worry about being, not getting on the ferry, even though you have a ticket. You can pre-buy your ticket. That's what we did. There was plenty of room for a lot more cars at 6 a.m., but it took about 35 minutes to cross. Oh, and I forgot to say, if we would have gone back this way, which we didn't do, we made a big circle of the park. We went around the south side to Tacoma. So we started off on the north side and then around by the beaches and Pacific Ocean, and then curled around through a town called Aberdeen, and then Olympia, where we had dinner, and then Tacoma, and then back up and stayed at a Fairfield Inn by the airport the next day. But if we were going back that way, Crystal, it would have been free to take the ferry back. So the ferry, you pay one way, and then it's free on the return trip.
Oh, cool. Okay, so after the ferry, you paint the picture, right? And that's cool. You have the cart too. So do you know where you're going?
I do. Well, our first stop was going to be breakfast, right? Because we woke up so early. So we wanted a great breakfast place. What is hilarious is I forgot where we had eaten breakfast 7 years ago.
No.
I go to TripAdvisor and we end up going to the same exact restaurant, which I generally don't like, going to the same restaurant. But in this case, I really, really liked it. In fact, it's funny. I did forget to pull this up, so I'm going to try to do it now.
And 7 years ago, because you can even use Google Maps and it'll tell you where you went. I have my Google timeline on. Oh, which I turned, make sure I turned it back on. Let's see, where did it go to for my Google Maps? If you activate timeline, it'll tell you everywhere you went. Like even today, it'll be like, oh, you were walking. Oh, you hopped on a train. Oh, you were in a car.
And I made a bad mistake, which is I didn't have any of that location stuff turned on when I first did it, which was a big mistake, because now I go back through the pictures and I'm trying to put the pictures in the place that I was. I should have done it way earlier. I had 50 people tell me to do it, and I never did it.
And I share my location with a friend too.
Oh, well, of course.
They can know where I am all the time. But also safety. For remembering, the first time I used it, totally unrelated while you're looking for that, for doctor visits, because I was entering to get my FSA reimbursement. And so I needed to know like which days I went and the mileage, because I was claiming mileage too, because you can claim however many cents per mile for going to doctor's visits if you didn't know that on your HSA. So that's actually the reason that I first turned on the timeline.
That's funny.
To refer back.
What an obscure reason. I mean, really, of all the reasons. I found this place in Port Angeles. Port Angeles is it's a small town. It is where the ranger station is, and where you can get supplies, ask the ranger stuff, get maps, visit. They have a little really tiny one-room museum, just kind of introducing you to the park. Libby said a couple of weeks ago, that place is not very good. But it was the only one that was open because it was in January. But before we went there, we went to this little tiny Greasy Spoon restaurant called the First Street Haven Restaurant. It has the most reviews of any of the cafes in Port Angeles for breakfast. 501 reviews. It's rated 4.5 out of 5. It is completely, Crystal, a little tiny Greasy Spoon. This place is super, super, super tiny. Let's see if I can share my screen for everybody who's just hanging out with us on.
So is Greasy Spoon equal to hole in the wall?
It is. Yes.
Okay,
very
love a good hole in the wall.
Very much like a hole in the wall restaurant. Let's see if I can make those pictures.
Oh, I'm a Benny kind of gal. I love Benedict, but I like this. My favorite is a steak Benedict.
It's a little tiny restaurant. I wish there was more pictures here. You can see how good the food is.
That does.
but it is very small. Every time anybody opened up the door, it was freezing inside of there. It was very cold outside. It was snowing.
One of those.
When we got there, there is just a long counter and a few tables. The waitress tells you to seat herself. It was fast. It was straightforward. So really, really good time at the Haven Diner restaurant. But then we went to the ranger station, and we talked to the ranger because we wanted to go up on a drive I remember that we had done before, which was called Hurricane Ridge. In the middle of Olympic National Park, Crystal, there's this series of mountains, the biggest one being Mount Olympus. And, but they're beautiful, and they're all snow-capped, and they're just in this row, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful ridge of mountains. The funny thing is there are no roads in the middle of Olympic National Park. They still haven't put any roads through it. So you can go up to this ridge to look out at the mountains. You can hike into the wilderness, but it is wilderness out there still to this day.
Nice.
What's amazing is the road that goes up to the ridge overlook is the same route that the first explorers took. That went there. Of course, the Native Americans had already been there, knew the region, but the first Europeans to go there actually went up this ridge. And the way I heard the story, it took them over a month to make it to the end of Hurricane Ridge Road, where you can look out over the beautiful mountains from a high perch. What's funny is it takes now about 25 minutes to drive that road. What took them a month to go. That road, though, the guy told us, because we didn't have chains for our car and we were there in the winter, we shouldn't go because it was steep enough that your car could literally just slide off the road. Oh. And then I'm in an Avis rental car. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It got dark.
Yeah. The sunset. There we go.
I thought all of your power went out. Like, Crystal, you got to pay your bills.
No, I refuse.
Yeah. I don't know the power company anything.
You have to come get it.
So we didn't do Hurricane Ridge Road. The way I remember it the first time, it was snowy. It was pretty. It was mountains, but it definitely wasn't my favorite part of the park. So we were okay missing it. We'll go there next time. If we can go up there and hike maybe a little bit around the mountains, that would be a lot of fun. But we didn't do any of that. What we did do instead, we drove out by a beautiful lake called Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake is just, there are two amazing lakes. Near the north side, there's Crescent Lake, and on the south side of this huge park is Quinault Lake. And we spent a lot of time at Quinault Lake on day 2, so I'll talk about that later. But at Crescent Lake, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of hiking trails. There are a couple of great waterfalls. One of the waterfall roads was closed. The other one, it was going to be about an hour and a half drive. And we didn't want to do that because working with the park ranger, this was cool, Crystal. And I'd never done this before. And Cheryl and I decided that we should ask the ranger about other stuff to do, even if it has nothing to do with the park. Mm-hmm. We said, what should you visit? And he said, we should visit the most northwest point of the United States, which is not in the national park. It's actually part of a reservation. And so our goal was to go and stand in the spot where we were at the northwestmost part of the lake. But anyway, back to Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake is the most beautiful lake to drive around. On one side, there's a bunch of mountains. On the other side is just the road up against other mountains. So I got mountains on one side, steep cliffs, and on the other side, I've got just beautiful views of the lake. And it's a long lake. I'm not sure exactly how long, but man, if you're going to go there, you definitely want to go and drive Crescent Lake. And I'm going to bring this up.
So you're not out the car yet. Okay.
We got out of the car we got out of the car just for breakfast and for the park rangers. I also gassed up because this is a huge park and I didn't want to run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. There's a town called Forks right in the middle of the park, but I know that these little towns, Crystal, it's
They
going to be
closed,
$1 bajillion
right?
for gas, or it's going to be
That
closed, right?
too.
Good point. Good point. So let me show you images of
Lake.
Crystal Lake. Here we go.
Like
Crescent Lake. Yes. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Well, and I wish I could see these bigger. There we go. This is what we want. If my computer ever brings it up.
It's thinking. It's rebelling. It's refusing.
Yeah, can you see that?
Just still small. But it's
still
beautiful.
Tiny. But it's
Yeah.
not okay. It isn't. It isn't going to show because it's just looking at that tab.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a view from up high. There's another view. You can see there's just nothing around. It is just surrounded by beauty. Driving around this thing, you feel your blood pressure go down immediately. There is a Crescent Lake Lodge. And we went there last time we went 7 years ago. The food was absolutely horrible, but the views were amazing. So it was a nice place to go. So then we drive another 45 minutes before we actually have our first real hike, Crystal, which is at Cape Flattery. And Cape Flattery
now. Okay.
Finally. And Cape Flattery.
If I was Cheryl, I'd be asleep because it sounds so serene and peaceful.
Oh, you know what's funny is that she would have been asleep if the views weren't so beautiful. Like the views are just absolutely gorgeous.
Saying in my Aerosmith voice, yeah.
And they just kept coming. So Cape Flattery's on the Maka and I hope I pronounced that right. Makah Indian Reservation. The park is punctuated by Indian reservations, the Ho Reservation, the Kinnaud Reservation, the Kalalak. So all of these Indian reservations, but Cape Flattery is the Maka Indian Reservation. It was $20 to go to Cape Flattery and be on the trail. You know what? It was so beautiful out there, and just supporting the locals that keep this up. I definitely thought it was a good use of money. The cool thing about that $20, it lasts a full year. The coast is really rocky here, and there's lots of formations out in the water. So these little high cliff islands where it feels like around it, the land had just broken away from the mainland because they just kind of jut out of the ocean. And it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of when I was in Indonesia and there were just little islands all over the place, or even if you're, when you were in Puerto Rico, I think, you can see some of the other little islands around.
Yeah.
Much like that. So we go out to the end and we can see Canada to the north. And Victoria, I think it's Victoria Island we were actually looking at across this big wide channel. There was also one island in the United States that was off the coast that actually had a lighthouse, an old lighthouse on it that looked like it wasn't manned. I'm not sure if it was manned or not. But what was cool was there was a bunch of driftwood floating in the water because there's so many trees that the trees die and they fall in the water and there's tons of driftwood. In the driftwood, though, was a sea lion.
Huh.
And the sea lion was bobbing around and swimming around. And we finally lost him. But that was our first wildlife that we saw was the sea lion. So,
well, do you want to see live wildlife unless it's like a bird?
I definitely do. You don't want to see.
I don't want to cross its path. Like far away, sea lion. Yeah.
I don't want to see a bear.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to see a shark.
Are you doing a guided tour hike? Or you? pretty
No, it
verse
was
and
it was really easy to follow the trail. Great question.
Okay.
Really easy to follow, but no guides on anything that we did. Libby actually gave us great tips. If any of our adventurers want tips, if you're headed there, like write to me and I'll just write you a few notes or go to our Clubhouse Facebook page and I'll definitely help you. So then we got back in the car and now the Super Bowl had actually started. Thank God, by the way, I missed the Super Bowl. That was horrible.
It was a good game.
We had to make it to the beaches. Now, the last time that I was at Olympic National Park, the beaches were not really on my radar. I'm like, these are mountains. You know what, though, Crystal? It isn't just mountains. It's actually the beaches are, for me now, one of the central parts of this national park. Like, it was so cool. So we go to this place, Rialto Beach. And when you go out there, there's all these rock formations. And one is called Hole in the Wall. And it's about a 1.5 mile walk to Hole in the Wall. But when you get down there, it's just a hole in a rock formation that you can climb through as long as it's close to low tide. And on Libby's recommendation, we got out there about 1.5 hours before low tide. And she recommended we do this thing called tide pooling, which I think, did she talk to us about that on the show?
I think so.
So tide pooling, for people that missed Libby's excellent episode, tide pooling is walking around these rocky areas where water gets trapped as the tide goes out. And now you have these little pools where life is supposedly swimming. Well, what's funny is that when Cheryl and I get to these tide pools and we start walking on these rocks, and these rocks are a little treacherous. Like, you've got to make sure if you don't have very good balance, you got to be very careful because it would be easy to slip. But we're looking down in these tide pools and we do this for maybe 15 minutes. And Cheryl goes, well, this is a whole bag of nothing. And about 2 minutes later, like right after she said that, Crystal, we hit the freaking lottery. Like, and you know what? It isn't the lottery. Just keep looking. Because we start seeing these sea anemones. We see starfish.
Wow.
All kinds of different starfish. Hermit crabs. At first, I see these shells. And Cheryl goes, oh, look at the shells. And I said, no, I think those are snails, and I think they're alive. She's like, no way. I pick one up and I turn it over, and there's a snail living in the shell. You can just see the bottom of the snail. So I put the snail down, but then we're looking at these other shells that are a little bigger, and the shells start moving, and you can see the feet. And these are hermit crabs.
Cool.
Yeah, the cool hermit crabs.
And then the ones that walk sideways, too.
They're fighting all over each other. Yeah. Well, they're just bumping into each other because they got this, they got this shell on top of them. And so it was really cool. And we ended up staying out there for maybe 1.5 hours, just lost in these tide pools. I was a week younger than I was today when I realized how damn fun tide pooling is. Like, if you said, hey, I know this place near Washington, D.C., and I'm visiting you, and you're like, I know this place and there's tide pools out by the ocean, I'm like, let's go right now.
We don't have an ocean. Right, we got the Chesapeake Bay. We got the Potomac.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have to see if we have any. I don't know.
What do you got? 2 hours, 3 hour drive to the ocean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we could get there, but who knows? Anyway, tide pooling, super, super neat. Great time. And we did that until it was almost sundown. And then we walked back toward our car about the 1.5 miles back and watched the sun go down there at the
beautiful
right on the beach across the Pacific Ocean. There's something a little maudlin about watching the sun go down over the Pacific Ocean. Something a little sad, Well,
it never gets old. So you stayed out, like, were you pacing yourself to be back? Because don't they close at sundown, all the trails?
Great question. I don't know. I would think so, that they probably do. But we were actually pacing ourselves to make sure that we did that. And I knew that it was only going to be a short, maybe 75-minute ride, to short, over an hour ride. Right. to our lodge, which was a beach further down called now it looks like Kalaloch Lodge, Kaloloch. But the guy at the front desk named Grant said to us, it's pronounced Kalaloch. So it's like CL instead of CAL. It's like CL. Kalaloch Lodge. This is a lodge that is right in the national park, right next door to the campground. Libby actually told me, she's like, you're going to like that lodge. They have food there, a restaurant called the Creekside Restaurant inside of it. We actually grab our bags. We're exhausted now just from being in the car all day. And we did, the couple of hikes. I probably hiked about 5 or 6 miles that day.
Did breakfast hold you?
What's that?
Did breakfast hold you all that time?
Yes, we grabbed from a market. Okay. We grabbed from a market some snacks for the day at the beginning, very, very beginning of the day.
Okay,
Grabbed some snacks. I forgot to mention that. But yes, it did. And we were, by this time, as you can imagine, I was still kind of hungry. Yeah, so we get there. It's after dark. We haul our bags in. And this guy, Grant, at the front desk, it's this beautiful little lodge, goes, well, since you brought your bags in, would you like me to change your room to this lodge versus the lodge that you actually booked?
Oh, my goodness.
Which it turns out at Kalaloch Lodge, there's 2 different lodges. One, which is the main lodge, and another one that doesn't have any Wi-Fi. I hadn't done the Stacking Benjamins podcast yet. I had it about half finished, and I need to finish listening to it and upload it. So I'm like, no, I need Wi-Fi or nobody's going to hear the show tomorrow. So they upgraded us to like the daddy-o room, like the best room in the lodge.
They were like, did you say Stacking Benjamins?
Apparently, I know who you are. Yeah, sure.
No, they thought you were Michael Keaton.
So that was really cool. We went downstairs to the Creekside Restaurant. Libby had told me that restaurant wasn't very good. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't care if it is Gordon Food Service, regular food that you'll get in any cafeteria, which it was. The hamburger was $19, which was ridiculous. Hamburgers and fries. Yeah. Cheryl also had a hamburger, but she substituted it for a salad, which they did at no additional fee. I had a beer, which was, like $7.
DC prices.
Yeah. So it was pretty pricey and it was pretty bland food, but I got to tell you, at the end of the day, where we saw as much beauty, I liked it.
Listen, I had a fruit bar that tasted like a steak because I was so hungry. I was like, Mom, this steak is delicious.
It's like that Eddie Murphy bit, Eddie Murphy bit, where he's like, yeah, is this cracker Ritz?
Right.
You haven't had it in a long time. Every cracker's a Ritz.
Fingers, yeah, all of that.
So because we had this huge, beautiful room with huge windows overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The next day, we just kind of dawdled for a while, Crystal, and sat and played. I brought a couple little 2-player card games with us, and we sat at this table and had coffees and looked out the window while we played some cards in the morning before we got on the road. The second day, we actually visited the rest of the beaches. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to turn the music up right here, right now, because we can call this the halfway point.
Yes. How can I forget?
It's time for our
enamored.
Gear. Time for our gear of the day. I feel like, normally I talk a lot, but holy cow.
I think the listeners are like, is he going to stop talking? I didn't even notice.
Does this guy breathe?
He does.
At the gear of the day is our midway point pit stop. Thank goodness, because Crystal's going to talk for a little bit now.
Yes.
And the pit stop, you're always dreaming about what the end of the adventure is, how cool it'll be when we get there. It's always a hint of our gear of the day. Crystal will tell us what that is at the end of the day. So, what's our hint?
So the hint is this gear is so good, I don't even need to have it because I can't find it. I can never find mine. I always forget it. And then when you're at the airport, you remember, oh man, I forgot it. Should I buy another one? And you're like, yep. And I usually buy another one. So I have like 4 or 5 of these gears.
I know exactly what it is.
Makes me so mad.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. It's and then you're like, I cannot travel without it. But yet it's probably the most forgotten thing. They could probably charge as much as they want, which they kind of do at the airport.
They kind of do.
Because people forget it. I think you already know what it is.
I think I might. We're going to take a break now, and I'll tell you right after our break what my guess is.
I can't believe we haven't even covered this yet. Because you know why? Because it's so easy to forget.
Yeah.
That's why.
You said that when we were prepping, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. So this is, don't tell me if I'm right, but I think it's your phone charger. I think it's your charging cord.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's your charging cord. Oh, maybe not. Look
Very
at you.
Interesting guess.
Well, we will find out later. All right. Do you want to tell me what I did the second half of the trip?
You tell me.
Okay, fine.
Let me guess. You took a nap and you missed the whole second day and you were like, oh man, now it's time to leave.
That's it. We are done. I should tell you a little bit about the Kalaloch Lodge, about the pricing, because I did look at the price. I did look at the price of the lodge, Crystal, so that people have an idea. $242 a night. That's during the off season. I'm sure it's more during the on season. $242 to stay in a room overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, and that's the one with the Wi-Fi?
That's it. And that's, well, we paid for one that didn't have Wi-Fi and got upgraded. So I don't know. But even if you were to have been in our old lodge, that was right across the street from the main lodge, and we would have still been right at the beach, right there.
And which also says a lot for the other one, that the no Wi-Fi, because you go to nature to disconnect, right?
You totally do.
Not edit shows, right?
Yes. I wish had I not been doing this speaking gig for 3 days before in Seattle, I would have totally had it already done. Cause I do not like taking work with me. So we continued just by walking up the road to get onto Kalaloch Beach. The lodge is up on a cliff a little bit. And so getting down to the beach was kind of hard. In fact, one of the beach access points, the ladder had kind of washed out, and we went down that way. So we had to kind of shimmy down to the ladder, which was broken, and get down to the beach. Lots of driftwood, like all the beaches there. And they say that at high tide, you got to watch out for the driftwood because people will climb on it. But if there's water underneath it, the driftwood will turn, and it has actually then crushed people. So
I believe it.
Luckily we weren't there during high tide.
Yeah.
There was a beautiful place at Kalaloch Beach called the Tree of Life. And so imagine this cliff, and the cliff has been eroded in one part. And so it goes down where there is no cliff. This tree is right in the middle of this eroded part of the cliffs. But instead of having roots below it, Crystal, the roots are off to the sides. So you can actually climb underneath the tree because you can see the bottom of the tree. The roots are going into the sides versus going down into the ground.
Huh.
It's this really, really weird, cool tree called the Tree of Life. Loved it. It was neat to see and neat to walk down the beach. Then we went north to a beach that Libby called her favorite beach. It was beautiful. It's called Ruby Beach. There's a nice little trail, 1/4-mile trail that takes you down from the parking area to the beach. Lots of rock formations out there. Just a gorgeous setting for a beach. Nothing spectacular to report there. It was just Ruby Beach was gorgeous. We also stopped off at, there's other beaches along Kalaloch, beach number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1, and you can stop at a couple of those. And when we did stop, there were these cool walking trails that took you down to the beach. And I would just park your car and get out and do some walking, which was super neat. But then we finally said goodbye to the beaches and made our way inland to another lake, like Crescent Lake.
Okay.
On the south side is called Lake Quinault, Quinalt. It's near the Quinault Indian Reservation. They name the areas of the park after the local tribes that have lived there. So the whole rainforest is the Ho tribe. The Lake Quinault is by the Quinault tribe. And so the Indian reservation was right there, and there's lots of lodging. But I got to tell you, in the town of Quinault, right on the beautiful, beautiful lake. Imagine just another lake like Lake Crescent, but with this one has houses around it.
Imagine living
cottages.
there.
Oh, it'd be spectacular. But Lake Quinault Lodge, FDR had stayed there once. And in fact, they named the restaurant, the Roosevelt Room is the name of the restaurant. But this lodge, Crystal, you go in, it was built in the 1920s. It had a roaring fire in the fireplace. It was beautiful. And I looked at this lodge. Frankly, if it were me and I had it to do over again, I would stay at this lodge over staying at it was just a nicer place. And what's funny is I went to look at the price, and maybe it's because it's not along, I didn't go into any of the guest rooms. Maybe the guest rooms were worse. I don't know what the deal was, but it was only $150 a night.
Wow.
So you can save almost $100 a night by staying at a lodge that I thought was actually a better place. There was some beautiful hikes along Lake Quinault. On the north side, if you go to the ranger station, there is a hike. It says 2 hikes on the map, but one hike is just a little tiny hike through a rainforest.
Define tiny.
Maybe a mile.
Okay.
Maybe a mile.
Agree.
Yes. But it's also part of a longer hike. So we did that hike, but it loops into a longer hike called the Kessler Homestead hike, which takes you out to this homestead that looks like everything was closed. So I couldn't see any of the history on it, but it looks like the Kesslers had stayed there until maybe the 1940s. Before it got turned over to the national park. There was a rusted out old car or old truck there. There was a couple barns, and you could see where they had kept livestock before. But on the way out there, you're going through this rainforest, and these trees, I'm going to post these in the clubhouse because, Crystal, the trees have all this moss all over them. So the trees are these bright colored green. And even though it was the middle of winter and freezing ass cold, the bubbling brook that ran alongside the trail, everything was green inside of the brook. Everything was alive. What was cool was we overhead, as we were starting the trail, we actually saw a bald eagle way, way, way over top that was circling around. And he was way, way up there.
He's like, hey, Baldy.
It's like, hey, you and I are friends. We must be kindred spirits. We almost made it to the halfway point of the trail, which was this Kessler homestead. And all of a sudden, I hear this noise back behind me and to my left. And all I see is huge movement in the trees just over my head, maybe 10 feet over my head. The bald eagle flew. He had apparently parked, and we spooked him as we were walking along because he decided to fly right over us. I've never had a bald eagle fly that close to me. This would have scared the hell out of you, Crystal, because his wingspan must have been 10 feet.
Oh, wow.
He was huge. He was absolutely huge with his huge wingspan.
I cannot imagine.
When we got back to the homestead, there was an older lady there hiking by herself. And, Joseph Rosendo said this, you and I have said this before, talk to people. So we talked to this woman. She goes, hey, on your way out, look to the right, which we had passed by this on the same road on the north side, but look off to the right, she said, because there will be some Roosevelt elk there. And sure enough, as we're driving along, almost right next to the road, but hidden maybe 10 yards into the woods. But Cheryl and I have been so busy talking, we hadn't even noticed it. There was a whole herd of elk right next. And these things are huge. I mean, they're just, they would demolish your car. Yeah. A lot of people think elk if they've never seen one, and they think it's the size of a deer. This thing's 4 times the size of a deer. Oh, they're huge. They're just closer to a moose. than a deer. Yeah. So on the south side of the lake near the lodge, there was another great trail that we took as I wind for home here called the Gatton Creek Trail. You just walk up some elevation about a mile to a beautiful bridge that goes over this stream and this series of little waterfalls. From afar, before you get there, you can see a bigger waterfall. You can't see it when you get to the bridge, but if you stop and look to your left as you're going up the trail, you'll see this wonderful, beautiful waterfall. And then we hiked back down, and along the shore of the lake, there was the biggest spruce tree on earth, 191 feet tall. And
wow,
I don't know the girth, but the thing was it was a monster spruce tree that we got to see. There were some huge trees, a lot like if you've ever seen the redwoods, or the sequoias.
Nope.
These weren't as big as the sequoias, but certainly these were as big as a lot of the redwoods that we saw. So we saw a few of these huge trees there.
That's huge.
On the way home, the only other thing I'll talk about, we decided to stop for pizza in Olympia because Olympia is a college town. It's also the capital of Washington. So we saw the Capitol building. It looked beautiful. We were there after dark, and we were really kind of tired, but Cheryl had picked out this pizzeria downtown called Old School Pizzeria.
Okay.
Now, the bad news is we get downtown. I can't figure out the parking. They have two different, when you look up downtown parking, it says that the app you need to use is one app. It turns out they have contracts for different lots, Olympia, with two different parking apps. And neither one is Park Mobile and the other one is Pay by Phone parking. I'm on Pay Mobile and I can't figure out what the hell's going on. Cheryl finally gets out of the car and goes, I'm going to walk down to the restaurant and just go in and get a table. And I'm out there for another 25 minutes. She's like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
But then, Crystal, I still couldn't figure it out. So then she's like, oh, there's free parking right next to the place. I go over there. It's not free parking. That the parking lots, street parking uses one app. Parking lots use another app. It was going to cost me $10. I finally parked illegally. And I haven't gotten a ticket yet. And I didn't get a ticket at the time. So I don't know if I'm getting a ticket or not. But
because that was during the week, right? It wasn't a Sunday. You flew out.
No, it was on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Olympia, if there's anybody from Olympia, I can't figure out your damn parking system downtown. It was idiotic. It was truly idiotic. But it was a cool downtown. The downtown looked alive. There were a lot of cool places. Old School Pizzeria, which is the pizza place we went to, was not cool.
Oh, no.
It was, and I think we might have been the only ones that didn't know that. I kind of should have known when we walked in. You walk up and you order your pizza, you can order a slice or a full pie. The pie was really greasy and thin, but we were so hungry we ate the whole damn thing. That just the two of us just swallowed it. They have a salad called a green salad. You know why they call it green salad? Because they throw a bunch of greens with nothing else.
Oh my goodness.
Into a bowl, and they hand it to you with ranch dressing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So I give Old School Pizzeria a good old 1 or 2. Now, the cool thing was they were playing one of my favorite bands, the Pixies, when I walked in. So that was pretty cool. And they have video games and there's graffiti all over the place. It's got a neat college town vibe.
Well, that's
maybe
what
I'm
it
too
is.
old and bougie.
Yeah, you're not the target audience. You have too much money for that. Not that college kids don't have it, but it's like, all right, I got to study. I need a pizza now and I need to get back to studying. I got to say, though, there's got to be better pizza options than this one. Even for the money, there's got to be better pizza options. Just one little quick story, too. Flying home the next day, it was a beautiful, clear day. And just like I had on the way in, I could see Mount Rainier. That was gorgeous. But, Crystal, at one point, and I'll post this photo, I could see at one point Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helen, and Mount Hood. I had 4 mountains in my airplane view. Wow.
Yeah. Mount Hood's really cool. And Mount St. Helens is wild because you see this mountain without the top on it. And you realize how much destruction that was, when Mount St. Helens blew back in the 1980s. But anyway, beautiful flight home. Best part about the flight home was we got upgraded. So I sat in first class on the way. And I could, what? flights in first class are so much easier. They don't even feel
right.
Yeah, it didn't even feel like 4 hours. It seriously didn't feel like 4 hours. That seat is so big. I was literally just going to start to watch us make our descent because they came on a couple times and told us we were descending. And I open up my window and the plane is literally touching down like 5 seconds
like butter.
late. I'm like, how did we get down so fast?
Cute.
Yeah.
Didn't even
First
notice.
class makes it great. All right. That's my trip to Olympic National Park.
Applause. I will be going. Libby is going to take me to a park when I'm out there in Arizona in about a month or so. So I'm very excited.
She's taking you to Saguaro National Park.
Oh, cool. I don't know the name.
It looks like Saguaro, but it's pronounced Saguaro. And it is a park that is known for all those cactuses with the crazy arms and stuff. Great hiking trails out there. You might see a coyote in the wilderness there. Oh, they're cool. It's neat. They're not going to come up to you, but you might see some
cool
fun desert park. You're going to love it, Crystal.
I'm excited. Very excited.
It's
a great story.
Well, thank you. I feel like I talked for 50 minutes nonstop. You got a couple things for us. Why don't I take a break, Crystal? You've got a couple things from our adventure hangout, the clubhouse.
Totally forgot.
What are people talking about in the clubhouse?
Oh, okay. So Cosette is going to Japan. And what I liked about her post was that she said, and it was pretty funny, and I quote, her brother, a few days ago, my brother asked me if I wanted to join him and his wife on a 15-day trip to Japan. And they're going in March. And I'm like, I love a last minute trip because sometimes it's like, let me think about it. But then if you can't stop thinking about it, I think you might want to go on that trip. So she's asking about Japan. So if anyone has tips for Tokyo, Hiroshima, I did not go to Hiroshima. I did go to Tokyo. So of course, I'm going to say this, and someone mentioned it under Roy's post too, the 100 yen store. I mention it. I talk about it probably too much, but it's a nice, cheap store with good quality stuff. So at least go in there to see. The 7-Elevens were popular. I also like to go. I don't eat McDonald's and Popeyes and stuff like that, but I always love to see what's on their menus because it's always like different stuff. Like, why do you have fish, at Popeyes, or not fish, but like shrimp, or it's like some weird like tuna or something, and I'm like, okay, why? Or they have like croissants, like really, really fancy like bakery pastries at different McDonald's.
We did that in Peru. Just walked into McDonald's to see what was on the menu.
Yeah. And
just different sandwiches I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, and then because one of them, I think it was the TGI Fridays in Dubai or somewhere, the Michael Jordan figure they had with the basketball did not look like Michael Jordan at all. Like, it was just like the uniform, like nothing looked like remotely close to legit. So that's another funny thing to say.
That's because it was really Kevin Durant. You didn't realize.
No, it was not. It didn't even resemble a human. Like, I don't know what that sculptor was doing. But yeah, so Cosette.
Yeah, and a question. And Cosette, I think, said that she wanted to go north, right?
Yeah.
And she said she's going to Hiroshima, which is south of Tokyo. And she also said she wants to avoid big cities. Way up north, a place I've always wanted to go is Sapporo. I just think it's beautiful. It's snowy. It has much more of a northern climate feel that I really like. My daughter said one thing, I've never been there, so I don't know, but my daughter lived there. And the one thing she said, Cosette, that was a big one, which is don't talk on the trains. Like, often they can tell groups of Americans because
we're always too loud
on the train. And she's like, nobody talks on the train. You do not talk on the train. And don't litter anywhere either.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Cause I saw a guy with a beer can smashed in his back pocket. And I'm like, is he going to carry that around? And our tour guide was like, yes. And you'll notice because there's no garbage cans because there was like a large terrorist attack years ago. And so there aren't any. So you really have to work hard to find a garbage can because they had bombs inside of the garbage cans now
Wow.
exploded at
Yuck.
the same time. But yeah, but people carry their trash. Like, that's awesome.
Little towns, if she is going to be south going toward Hiroshima, my daughter was in a town that had a historic old district called Kirishiki. I know that old town, they have gondola rides down through the waterways.
Nice.
And it's this nice ancient place that we really wanted to go to, but COVID hit when she was there, so we didn't go. But lots of tips if people want to join in. They just join our Facebook group, Stacking Adventures Club.
Yes, the clubhouse. And then Roy is going to Dubai, which I loved. I would definitely recommend the mall because they have a ski resort inside of the mall.
That's crazy.
But you have to go when they open. Don't go in the afternoon. It's too late, because the beauty of waking up early and getting there when they opened was we did everything. So when we were rounding out the last slope and activity, the lines to get in and the lines to do stuff were crazy long. So that's one of my tips. And it was cool because you can go to the sand, to the desert and snow in the same day. So do that. The Jeep, the desert tour, that was really cool because they let out the air of the tires so they can really burn rubber and do donuts and all that crazy
that's
stuff
fabulous
in the sand. And then you get to ride the camels. And then there's this oasis where ours had a dinner included. So there was this dinner and
neat.
This guy in this twirling, they have these light up twirling dress skirt things, and it's a LED show from a skirt, a twirling, but you'll have to see it. But it was a lot of cool entertainment, like traditional dancing and stuff. The dollar was really strong there when I went. So I went souvenir crazy. As usual.
My friend Robert Niles from Theme Park Insider, he helps us in Stacking Benjamins kick off the new the summer season by telling us, how to get the most out of theme parks. And he actually turned me on to Ferrari World, which is in Dubai.
Abu Dhabi.
Did you see it? Could you see it?
Yes. I didn't go in to drive the cars, but I bought some souvenirs from right outside. But you can see a lot of it even without.
Oh, that's in Abu
inside.
Dhabi.
Yeah, so that was also a fun. I forgot about Ferrari World.
Yeah, the world's fastest roller coaster, Formula Rossa, is there. So I don't know if Abu Dhabi's going to make it to your trip, Roy. But if so, if you like race cars like I do, ride the fastest roller coaster in the world.
That was definitely a cool place to see. He's also going to big word.
Oh, Mauritius.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
It looks beautiful off the Indian Ocean, East Coast.
I saw an ad for Mauritius, which was
East Africa.
and they want people to settle there. If I'm thinking of the right place, and I think that I am.
Could be.
You are not allowed. You have to open a bank account with a bunch of money. They want your money, right? So they want you to settle there and enjoy yourself. You're also not allowed to work while you're there.
Beautiful.
They want you to not work. They want you to enjoy yourself, and they want you to bring your cash and settle there. So it's like a special program where you can, I believe, settle there. If I'm thinking about the right place, and I think I think I am. Yeah. So let's go stay there. But that looks very exotic. I can't wait. Maybe Roy, when you get back from there, we'd love to hear about it.
Right. Yeah. But it sounds amazing. All right. Please join our group. We will. We're on it for the letting people in.
Yeah. If this is definitely I feel bad for Cosette because she said, "Hey, I've been waiting," and I was in Seattle. You've had Crystal works for the government. Crystal works for the government. You can imagine what that's like right now. There's a lot of circus stuff going on there. So between the two of us, this is obviously something we do for fun that we both love. So we will definitely approve you. But the bad news is we have to do that because as the group gets bigger, there's so many spammers. And I'm in some groups where it's just a spammer every other
it's
minute.
Spam Central, and it's
no, drives you crazy. So, but we will approve you. But we, I promise we'll get there. but especially if it's at a time when we're traveling, it's very difficult.
But thanks for saying something like, hey, let me in. It's like, oh, yeah, let me in.
Yeah, I'm glad she finally said something in the Stacking Benjamins.
Let us out. Remember from Clue?
All right, we got the music coming up, Crystal, so it's time for the gear of the day. Your clue was that the gear is something that you always forget.
Yep.
So at the airport, they charge you a bunch of money. I said it was your phone charger.
Wrong.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. It's the travel neck pillow.
The travel. Oh, my. I hate the travel neck pillow.
Do?
I do.
I've slept on mine before at home.
Really? I
like
can never
couch?
sleep with that thing.
Really?
That thing does not work. Oh, it's horrible.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
You don't have it even sideways when you have it around your neck this way?
I got one time. And
I have like six. And I can't
it sucks so
find any.
bad.
Huh.
And what's funny is Crystal doesn't have a lot of stuff. I've known Crystal for a long time.
I have a studio.
How you can't find it and you don't have very much stuff is.
And it's a big orange one. It's like it's a stuffed animal shape too. I got it at FinCon.
The last time that we traveled internationally, well, maybe not the last time, we went to Egypt and Jordan. Cheryl bought this one that looks like a scarf. It kind of wraps around you like a scarf. And so you can pop it up on one side or pop it on the other. That thing, when we got off the plane, she literally threw in the trash.
Darn it. I've left them on the shuttle going to the airport. Like it's come so close a lot of times.
I thought for sure it was a phone charger.
No.
How about that?
Womp.
Maybe coming up in the future. Who knows?
That'll be yours.
All right. Crystal, what were your big takeaways from my adventure in
all of it? No, just kidding.
Olympic.
I liked that that hotel, the lodge had the option of no Wi-Fi and also of the beaches. I would like to do the walking of the beaches because you saw a lot of beaches in January. Like, people don't think how beautiful the beaches are in January too.
It was so great. Nothing was crowded. Obviously, you weren't swimming. You weren't going in the water. But we had the beach to ourselves. Maybe at the most, there were 8 to 10 people out on the beach. This is incredible. Yeah, I love going in the off season.
Me too.
Beautiful. All right, that's going to do it for today. Next week, you're going to have to see what we talk about next week. I think that's going to do it for today. She's Crystal.
And I'm Joe.
Keep on adventuring, everybody.
Thanks for listening.